Okay, I think we are live now. Okay, so I'm short here on NQ and on the Dow. I shared these trades just a couple of moments ago. I think we're gonna get the take profit hitting pretty well here. You see our entry on Nasdaq was there, shared at the timestamp. This was Nasdaq, right? And then I forgot to share this one as well for the Dow. I shared Nasdaq, so that's what sort of matters, I suppose. So I think we're gonna get this low here. We might even get lower. Been sort of looking at the potential for running on AM lows here on Dow. So yeah, we're just chilling here. It's been a very good day. I think that was the last take profit on oil that I missed to log here. We have 2.02. I have that one there. And I think we had the last take profit on gold hitting as well. Not quite, it's just chilling a little bit here. Okay, I think it looks like it could come up and hit that. So we've had a very nice day here so far. Probably more than 10-20 R net profit so far. That's excluding the trade we have now. So I'm interested in that. I like these lows here. Could come down and take that. So just been a very productive day in terms of profitability. I want to show a little bit how we have had a very tough January on the shorter term trading, and that should be seen on the, I don't really feel like the chart. Oh, here it is. So you can see we had a nice run, bad run, came up, bad run, and now we're sort of back at 125 on the 2% risk per trade management here. So 127 and 5k per trade, we are at 200k. So it's been a little rough, but today recovered a little bit of those. We have minus 64 on the 5k per trade and 49 on the longer term trades here. But you know, we have a dollar that could still give a little bit extra boost there, but the short term trades have been really good. And as you guys know, I'm not hiding anything. We had a very nice pound trade first here this morning. It's very, very nice. So run above these highs and later up here. So that was very, very nice. And we had a re-entry for that as well. Then we longed the metals. And all of these trades I shared live. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, you can see all the results here as well, right? And we have the Dow and NQ trade running here now. And let's see if we can get the profit of that. I think we can. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about longer term, sort of what I'm seeing. And we had a long-term dollar position here that I was talking about, and it's currently running for buy side. I still think that could happen. But right now, I think shorter term, we are coming up to come down below this low here. And after that, I want to see, do we sort of find a way to continue higher? I still don't think we're going below this low here. So either way, we have a variety of considerations. These arrows are not very precise. Once I get more confident that we're gonna trade higher on dollar, I'll color these at some point. So I'm bullish on the dollar, but short term, a little bit more inclined to be bearish for the rest of this week. And we have the non-farm payrolls and the American tariffs. I kind of just want to touch that right now. American tariffs from Trump has resulted in countermeasures from a variety of international countries, including Europe. And I think some of that has effects on the commodity market. I This could be interesting for cotton here, but my focus has been, I've been focused on cocoa, and I have one last position here remaining for almost 5 risk reward here, and I have jammed my stop loss to right here, so we're still potentially going higher. So I think the coffee production, that's mostly Brazil, but we're obviously going to see with Trump, he's not just going to attack Canada, Europe with these tariffs, he's going to target the BRICS nations as well. I'm just watching NASDAQ here on another screen, trading lower. And all of that, I think, is sending these commodity prices higher. We also see that in gold. So anyway, here's the dollar, and there's that for the dollar. And euro, I think it's a bit similar. We're potentially coming up to come down here, but it's a bit tricky, so I'm just gonna rely on the euro, on the dollar as far as analysis and that goes. And I've had this arrow in previous videos that I made for everybody that I share for free, and I've been talking about potentially coming up here. I think that's back on the table here. If the euro comes a bit lower, the euro comes a bit higher, dollar comes a bit lower, pound comes a bit higher, I think that strength in the pound over the euro is more reasonable. So I'm actually going to be doing something like this. I do think that we could see some kind of up move. I don't know if we come all the way up here, but I think that we're gonna see something like that, and we can wait with the pound going lower until we see something like that actually materialize. So that is what I'm watching for there. Let me just see if there's some questions in the chat. I don't really think we got so far. I don't think we do. I do not think that we do. Let's see if we can get a couple of people here. So I think something that's going to be worth watching for in that regard is these commodity markets, because these tariffs will directly one-to-one adjust the prices of these commodities. And you guys know that I've been following coffee for a while, and it's I have this little watch list here that all of these commodities that I'm watching that I have on a delayed data continuous chart setting. But I was watching the nearby contract for coffee by standalone, and around the time that we sort of broke this 1977 340.05 continuous chart level / cash market level, that's when we started seeing some news about coffee prices. And most of these, I tweeted a little bit about this because I don't really know, but what I'm interpreting is that many of these, if actually all of them, of these commodity futures are largely traded on the US dollar, insofar, that BRICS nation, they managed to kill the dollar. That's how it's going to continue as a status quo, right? So if Trump says, kind of like, fuck you to the world, including tariffs on Canada, Mexico, Europe, and also some of these coffee production would include Brazil, some of these other South American places, don't completely think of particularly a lot of trade taking place with coffee production from India and South Indian Ocean countries and stuff like that. But nevertheless, I think some of that is the reason that we're seeing the driving of prices higher in coffee, and cocoa is also still residing very expensively. And I don't think it's completely seasonally driven by commodity price fluctuations as a result of drought and production, stuff like that. I think some of this is driven by the things that we're seeing coming around in headlines now. I don't know if if coffee is gonna make a move similar to cocoa. I would say comparably, coffee is around here right now, so we could have another 40-50%, maybe even 100% up move for coffee here, which would send us to 800-600 levels. I'm not particularly aiming for that. I just personally really like the 400 figure, and that's what my trade is aiming for in this trade that I shared a long time ago, but I've sort of been trolling a little bit on Twitter and liking my own posts, of course. The only true person would like their own content because your content is so fucking good, right? But I was timelining it a little bit here. I shared my first few entries down here. That's a couple of weeks ago, and this is the trade up here for I think it's exactly 400. That's the last trade I have running on coffee here as like a longer term trade. And I was expecting all of this to happen, kind of like a 1-to-1 extended Fibonacci move here and all of that stuff. And the price has been very nice. If any of you are familiar with some of the stuff that I do, you would also pay attention to what this here is. You would pay attention to this little swing down here, exactly what it found over here, and reacted very nicely and traded higher. So all of that led to some exceptionally one-sided, easy to trade moves on coffee. And I've just sort of built a massive position here myself. Of all positions long term, my by far largest has been coffee at this time. And I've just been building positions as we got discounts that led to the potentiality of higher prices. And I'm gonna be sort of throwing it a bit aside as we reach into my last target here. And I've been jamming my stop loss because I do think that the structure is indicating that we're potentially getting either, obviously it's just gonna run parabolic, but if it's gonna chill a bit, I think it's reasonable to be managing it exactly like this. So, which brings us back to the arrows that I was drawing. So I'm a little bit short-term bearish on dollar, and I have a little bit more of a higher probability with an orange arrow here that the pound should continue higher, which goes line with the expectation that I have on the dollar going lower. And I think the strength is going to be in the pound. And you can see that I've been trading this bias. It's not like I've not, I was trading down here, and then I had my re-entry here with these two positions, and we've since traded well into our take profits after the JOLTS release. And I released my 6th position long on the pound here, and all of these also traded into take profits. And you can see I shared all of those in my 2025 February Substack group, and I shared with the timestamps all of these trades, so they're exactly 1-to-1. And then I'm not hiding that January has been hard, but today was pretty easy. Today was very easy, not in equities, but in the other markets, I would say, in oil and in pound. And I was trading oil as well, and I was trading silver. Silver and metals in general was very sort of correlated with what I expected on Forex. Here was my oil trade that panned out today. It was nice to have these days where everything just pans out. And we are currently sitting short here on NASDAQ, and I'm just gonna be a little bit more tight with my management here. I think we're probably gonna see, just judged by this little discrepancy between ES and NQ, I think that we might get the lower low on I think we're gonna get the lower low on the NASDAQ, and then we're probably gonna get out at a slight loss / break even on NQ here. It had a little bit of movement, the Dow, but I favor that the NQ is coming lower here. So we're looking at that going forward. So that's my Forex expectation. Then we can go a bit further here. I still have a longer term expectation that we're going to see lower prices on the equities market. So far it looks like we had the gap lower as a result of all this stuff that happened with the tariffs announcements, counter tariffs announcements over the weekend. So that has completely been closed in, this little gap that we see lower here. And it looks to me like we solidified a little bit here, and it seems like we could be trading for all-time highs. So that's something I am watching for a little bit. That is something I am watching for. And we might adopt a mindset there very softly that we could be sort of coming down to come up there. It's very, very soft bias. I don't really feel particularly super hype about it. But as it looks right now, I think both ES and NQ, as it looks right now, should be making an attempt to run up there. So keep in mind I'm short right now, but I think we are coming down to run up and do something like that. And then once we make an all-time high move, potentially on ES, and or maybe just coming up here in this area on NQ, but not take out the all-time high, I am suspecting that we see a move that was my original expectation that we would see sell side. So I'm sort of soft biasing right now. It looks stronger on NQ rather than on ES. And I think Dow is kind of premiumized already, which is why I'm not so afraid to call for shorts in it. Because it's a little bit more deep on the premium from this large move we've seen here. We are sort of residing a little bit in the Fibonacci range on the higher side of it, whereas you can see NASDAQ has kind of like been more sideways, and only the Dow has really had more of a one-sided price delivery on the upside. So I'm also wondering that we might not come up here, and let alone I don't even think necessarily anymore that the Dow is going to come above this high, although we will allow it for the sake of a longer term idea that we could be potentially trading lower. So I want to see some kind of continuation to the upside the rest of this week, although we have non-farm payrolls. But it sort of would be a little bit nice to see some equities synchronized a little bit with the volatility expectation from those news centered around this non-farm payroll situation. Oil. I've been trying to call the bottom on this market. I still feel we could trade higher. I would say this though. If we have a bottom, I think it's now. I don't think we're coming up here to go down to then go higher. So that makes me quite certain that we have a bottom if it's there. So it's not like I'm calling both sides of the market, but I'm saying that if we lose this low now at 70 or 0.76, I think we could be trading to 66 and lower. And we have some seasonal tendencies kicking in for oil, and all these things that are happening with tariffs and all of this shit between these huge dick measuring countries that's, fucking around the world. I believe that we're gonna see higher oil as well. So we had a few trades. I longed down here and took some profits here and some profits here. I wanted to long it again, but I think right now I'm just sort of expecting a bit of sideways, and maybe if we come down a little bit, I might look for a buy. But we haven't really. It was a little violent for the upside. I kind of want to see a little bit more sideways here, and I'm not expecting we just break these highs straight away. So, but for the rest of the week, I'm generally looking for buy side. And we had some longs on metals, and my gold have one position left. In silver, I had full take profit. That was very nice, very clean, and this looks bullish. I still think it's kind of looking like it wants to make a directional trending move, and we'll see if that kind of results in the dollar actually collapsing more than I'm expecting. But generally speaking, I don't really think we're going below this low again, and I think we're coming up to maybe this high, maybe somewhere in here, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'll give this like an orange probability, like 60-70% edge on this one here. And this could be something that leads to gold doing a bit of a explosion to maybe 3,000 here. I'm not sure if this is on the heels of this uncertainty around the Western alliance, where Trump is going crazy with the tariffs and stuff. I don't know that, but I do think that we are going to see some volatility on gold here, and if I had to draw an arrow, I would say that as long as we're sort of staying above like 2,760, I think we're coming down to run up towards basically the 3,000 figure, right? So this is not very precise arrow, but I think that we should make an attempt for 3,000. Which at the end brings me to Bitcoin. I was initially a little bit bullish, then on you know, I don't remember if this error was from the last time I recorded the video, but definitely now I'm kind of looking for it to come lower. But I think we have to see how equities behave, and I think that's gonna sort of take charge of what the crypto market is gonna do. I see some weakness up here around 108k, and which probably takes us to all-time high. So, you know, generally I'm looking for a move lower, but I might get into a long for buy side first on this market. We had a much weaker move on Ethereum, and I've been talking about potentially seeking out some of this in my previous 3 videos, which boom, suddenly happened. And I think we're gonna have to manage some Nasdaq here. Give me a second. I feel like this low could be a reason to take something off, but I'm gonna allow lower and just move the entry here. So I'm always basing this of the first entry, and I think we have can move this one up a little bit there. So I'm basing my entry of the first entry here. I'm gonna move it's a little bit higher than break even, move my stops here. That's how I'm deciding to manage this. So I'm gonna say stop loss moved. That's how I'm gonna manage it. We could definitely make another run higher here, but when I see that it's kind of bull flaggy, I feel that it still has room to go lower here. But I don't want to see another lower low here and then not reach my first take profit. So if we go for a lower low here, I will be watching that very tightly and potentially exit manually. So I like sort of some stuff that I'm seeing here. There are some things I'm using here that makes me think we don't have to go up there. Certainly not on a closing basis. And that is why I am holding the short here. And what was I talking about? I was talking about crypto, right? So what kind of fundamental or tokenomic that's going to lead to Ethereum trading below 1K? I don't know, but it's kind of what I am seeing. But there is a second argument. We capitulated and did this typical crypto thing where we lost like fucking 30% of the value in one trading day. Have we come down here and scared off people to then trade up here? And if that happens, if we do trade above these highs now, I definitely think we'll see all-time high. As the move is solidified now with the top on Ethereum, and I was calling the all-time high on Ethereum not hitting. I was talking about that, you know, since fucking August last year. I was expecting these highs, but not this high. And we've seen we've seen some very strong negativity in the market. And right now, I feel that I'm still biased to the sell side. I still like us to trade lower towards the 1K figure. And I'll kind of stick with that until I get something I can use to long and expect all-time high and alt season and all of this stuff that other kinds of crypto traders are looking for. I do think if we trade above 3,400, I think that should set us for a move to run up against 4,000 and maybe all-time high. So those are, and that's with a higher probability, I think. But right now, I think we could come higher to come lower. And I want to see sort of, do we form structure on the way lower, or do we actually go towards the 1K figure? Ethereum could certainly trade 1K, while Bitcoin still stays above, you know, 50K, or at least comes down to it. That could absolutely happen. And we've kind of seen that some of this very longer term structure on the Ethereum Bitcoin cross pair, which is not a highly liquid and highly traded instrument, so I don't care too much about it. But if I were to interpret this like I would do any other real asset class, I would definitely think that this thing is going to make a quick run and start trading below 1105, or at the very least 1023 or 0023. So basically just another low of what we already have here. So that gives us, you know, the context. This is something I've been tracking since August, that we will see 1K before that with a terrible risk reward, of course. I'm just going to move that over there. And I'm just going to draw that we could still run up on Ethereum to run lower. It could still happen, but we also have the drawing here as well. We could be running up to be coming down. That's about what I have. I will be uploading this for my blog. And now I'm gonna just check if we do have any questions. And I don't expect we do. What is my Twitch chat saying? My channel, 0 viewers. And we have no questions there. And on YouTube, as expected, we have no questions. So I am going to just end this here, and then I will be uploading. So thank you guys for checking this out, and we had a great trading day. Let's hope tomorrow is the same.